welcome to this episode of Yogis that Inspire on Yoga Girl Ratika. So grab a drink, it's important to be hydrated. This is gonna be a good one. Today I'm excited to have Sumit Manav, who I met at the World Yoga Festival last year. And I did a yoga class with him and loved his infusion of yoga philosophy into the lesson. And then further discovered he's had an extensive history of yoga, having studied in the Himalayas in India, and also studying a postgraduate diploma in yoga science and human consciousness, which I'm interested about, from India. And since then has been spreading the magic of yoga throughout the world. So I'm happy to have Sumit on. This will work out now. Hi, Sumit.
Hi, Ritika.
Namaste.
Just a second, let me adjust my screen. Hi. How are you doing?
I'm very good. Thank you. I have a bit of a swollen eye, actually. So, but other than that, I'm good.
That's good to know. Don't worry, it will be healed soon.
Thank you. It's a
Finally,
sign.
we able to. Yes, please. Finally, we able to connect.
Yes, finally, back in UK where all the rules and regulations regarding IG Live are free to go ahead.
Even I had no idea about that, but as you started it, now I know how it works over there. Now I'm back to UK, so there is no issue with it.
Wonderful. Glad to have you. So, Sumit, can
Thank
you
you.
tell us a bit about your yoga journey? I know you studied in the Himalayas. Let us know a bit about your history.
So, yeah, I think it's been almost 23 years now where I've been practicing, learning, and spreading the joy of yoga. So, I got introduced when I was 14-year-old, and because of my mother, she was practicing some meditation under the great teacher. So, she took me to the Himalaya, the ashram known as Santi Kunj, where we stay almost a month, where I got introduced to the mantra yoga. And 1 month of sadhana we've been practicing, and that's it. That was the change that happened within me, and I took a decision to completely divert my focus, my energy, and my life towards learning the science to the deepest level. The journey was not end there. This was just the beginning, the taste of this wonderful practice, the spiritual practice. So I continued doing my education. Later on, after passing the school, I went to another university in a city called Nagpur, where I did my 3-year sports and yoga bachelor degree. Yoga was my, again, a special course, and main focus was on the yoga subject over there, where I got to learn much more, very deeper way, the Hatha Yoga, the Ashtanga Yoga, and all different format of yoga that was, let's say, on the ancient format or classical yoga system. And after finishing my graduation, when I was not happy, I was thinking there's something is lacking. I need to learn further. Again, I went back to the ashram where I was when I was 14-year-old, because they had started some very amazing yoga course, long-term course. Those are not 100, 200 hours, 300 hours. So there was a 1-year yoga diploma in human consciousness and yoga science. So I again joined that. And every time I was going to different school or learning for different teaching master, it was a great experience, because yoga is not just a small field, it's a very vast learning and experience. And as we do that in the long term, because when you're living in an ashram, you're living like life of a yogi, waking up morning 4 o'clock and following that yogic system that has been followed thousands of years ago with different disciples of yoga teachers or experts or codifiers of yoga in the past. So the system, when you follow, there's a total transformation that happens to your physical body, to your mental body, to your energy body, and to your spiritual body. Because system is designed in such a way, or that has not changed actually. Right now, if you see, person goes to a yoga class for an hour and they think they have done yoga, but the way they're doing the yoga is more of a trendy yoga practice. People having back pain, they go for a yoga class for a month, back pain get better. People have high blood pressure, they go for a yoga class for a month, they get better. So it's becoming trendy. So whenever they feel better, they take a pause, they wait for another problem to happen, and they start again. If you look at the past and the history, yoga was never a trendy practice. It was a lifestyle. And once yoga becomes your lifestyle, you see the long-lasting results, not only in terms of getting physically fit, mentally fit, but you get closer to the destination, the final destination. That is, there are many yogis has given definition of yoga. One of his is connecting an individual consciousness with the supreme consciousness. So ultimate goal is that. If you practice with that goal, then your practice in the class will also change. But the goal here is very different, very small, very tiny, that you want to become fit, lose weight, take care of the back pain, high blood pressure, diabetes, all these issues, right? So the ultimate goal is missing, and that I think teachers who teaches yoga plays a very important role of passing that knowledge, that where should yoga leads you to, right? If they don't do that, then students will not know what is the final destination. So in that journey, I think that is one thing I realized, that yes, yoga is not about just doing some physical posture, some breathing. It is much vast learning and experience. So I finished from there, then I went to another city, Pune, and BK Sengar, the Guruji, was based in Pune. So I was there for at least 1.5 years, 2 years, learning from him and teaching at the same time. So I started my first career in a city, Pune in India, where I was teaching to few families private yoga, yoga in the park. While same time I was associated with the Iyengar Yoga Institute, and I was also learning the dynamic meditation, also commune, because that's commune based in Pune. So I did another 2 years over there learning, teaching. Now I need to do something live. So now I moved to the another city, and I joined the company called Artistic Yoga, and the owner of it is Bharat Thakur, who is also a Himalayan yogi, and they spread the yoga into Middle East, India, Russia in a very unique way, an approachable way. So I enjoyed it working for almost 1.5 years and learned from the Bharat Thakur, lots of yogic techniques, Himalayan yogic techniques from him. And then I moved to the Dubai, where I started lifestyle yoga. So now it's been 13 years this month, we're celebrating of lifestyle yoga in Dubai. And now I'm in UK, giving a little bit of yoga tools and technique and practice to the world in UK now. So this has been the journey.
Congratulations on the 13th anniversary, and it's a great,
Thank
yeah, and it's a
Thank you.
great name as well to your experience of yoga, that it's a lifestyle, not just a
This is
1
how
hour
I choose
yoga
the
class.
name, because that concept was in my mind always, that yoga is a lifestyle. So why don't we keep the name lifestyle yoga?
I'm
That
just
was
curious,
idea.
yeah, before, like for a 14-year-old teenager to go to a month yoga class, I just
Yeah.
hung up on that thought. I mean, that's pretty significant to go wake up at 4 a.m. and do that so strictly. How did your mum convince you to sign up for that?
More, the parents had their own way to sell the chocolate, So it was like, hey, let's go for a holiday. We'll take you to the But I didn't know that holiday will change my life. So yeah, because she was going quite often to that ashram every year, actually. And it was just a summer holiday. She said, why don't you come and we'll have a good time over there. So it says holy city of Haridwar, you know that. City of the hills, where most of the rituals happen, where the Kumbh happened, the Haridwar city.
What
And
is
this
Kumbh?
ashram is,
Sorry,
sorry?
can you explain why is it what is Kumbh?
Kumbh Mela. The
Okay.
Mela for all, Mela means the festival, and that happened every 12 years. It was there the last year, the Kumbh in the Haridwar city. Is the
Okay.
festival of yogis or tantric, you can say, is where all these practitioners comes and meet at the place. So it's like meeting and greeting and celebrating the life and sharing the wisdom at the same time.
Mm.
Mela means the festival. So Kumbh Mela takes place every 6 years. That's called Ardha Kumbh, means half, and every 12th year is a full. That's massive. Millions of people get together in that festival. Yeah.
So your mom's a smart woman. She told you you were going for a holiday, and then
Yeah.
you were practicing yoga every day for a month.
And exactly. And see, because 14-year-old kid, they constantly do something else. Their mind is diverted towards, let's say, the sports activity, towards the game and things. And here I had a very great challenge, because now this is about turning the mind inward, and I was so not ready. But I think it takes some time. 1 week, 2 week it took me. I sat, I jumping, doing japa on my mala, and then slowly starting to feel the change. In 40-year-old, when you have the taste of silence within, then I think that experience can never go away from you. It always lasts with you. And that was the reason that changed my perspective about life, that why can't I learn this science further, and I can help in the future other people as well. So this is how it happened.
Another thing you mentioned is that you stayed, with your. I think it's interesting that you lived in the yoga community for years, um,
Yes.
and that embodies yoga as a lifestyle into your being, because you're
Yeah.
living, breathing, eating, surrounded by people who also embody the yoga lifestyle, and you stayed with your guru, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
can you explain what that was like? Because compared now these days to traditional yoga teacher not traditional, compared to yoga teacher training these days, where you go for a month, you study, and then you come back to your lifestyle.
Okay.
back
I will first take you through with the lifestyle that we had in the ashram.
to.
And as I say, this was totally the way yogis have lived and practiced. This is the similar concept we had it. We used to wake up 4 o'clock, get ready. 4:30 we used to be in prayer, and there used to be havan that used to happen. After that, we used to go straight away for the morning
Sorry,
yoga
what was
class.
after prayer? What was after prayer?
After the prayer, the havan, the home that happened, in the fire, we do mantras and create
Can
a
you
nice
explain
environment.
what is the Havan? What is the
Havan
Havan?
is Havan is the ritual. They use certain, let's say, Ayurvedic medicine. You put in the fire, and that creates a nice ambience and take care of the environment. And in India, it's Havan is a very important ritual that you do it when person is born, you do it when person is dying, you do on a birthday, on many cells. Just like an Indian couple getting married, that also the havan that take place, and they take 7 firas around the fire. So this is the similar concept that was there in the morning. After that, we used to go for our morning class that was lasting for 2 hours, so 6 to 8. 9 o'clock was our lunch. That's the best part, huh? Lunch was never 1 o'clock. So 9 to 10, the lunch used to happen. You can say breakfast, you can say lunch. Huh? Now the intermittent fasting, do you see, has become very popular. But I had experienced this 20 years ago already. So 9 to 10 was lunch, and then we used to go for our philosophy and other meditation or theoretical classes that was lasting for another 4 to 5 hours, being with the teacher constantly. And then taking a break at 2 o'clock. 5 o'clock, we used to have another beautiful session that is called Art of Living. There's another yoga guru used to come and give a lecture for an hour. And then again, we used to have a lunch at 6 o'clock. Sorry, dinner at the 6 o'clock. So 2 meal a day, that's 9 and 6. And the result of that, we won't know till we actually do it. So when I went to the university in the ashram to do this diploma, I was already active because doing yoga, but I was not following this ritual of eating and staying in the ashram the way yogis has done. So within a month or two living that lifestyle, it has changed my body completely, and it had dropped my mind. Because the mind of a yogi is a mind that does not get disturbed in losing and winning, as per the Lord Krishna who mentioned in Gita, one of the definitions of the yogi mind. And it changes completely. So there was no much effect I was having, and I was really tuned with that culture and accepting it, whatever was coming. I had great teachers who understood, lived yoga for many years and decades, who was teaching me, not one, many of them. And the result of that was complete understanding, experience of how this beautiful practice, ancient practice, can transform not only your physical body, but your mental body, energy body, and your spiritual self. So when I come out, I was just a different human being. Yeah. So
And
that was the result of the whole practice.
so that's amazing. So 2 meals a day and waking up at 4 a.m. Why 4 a.m.?
So the time, see, we call it Brahm Muhurat. Brahm Muhurat means the time of the god. That's the time you have maximum amount of energy or prana sakti in this universe. When everyone is sleeping at that time, yogis get up that time and take the maximum they can take into themselves through practice of yoga, pranayama, meditation, concentration. The world is totally at silence, and you have most amount of pranic force between 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock, you can say. So that's the time. Every scripture of yoga read that this is the time, Brahm Muhurat time, we call it. We must practice yoga at that time, or we must meditate, we must do some spiritual practice. You will get much better result in that.
Wow, that's a great
Yeah.
point. So
Yes,
it's worth the effort to wake
it
up.
is what. Yes, but we need to practice, take it further the step to get the result.
And I noticed that you said you live in caves, that the gurus lived in caves.
So we experience few times. Yes, so we experience few times certain caves still exist. Sometimes we get to go to Himalaya side, we can take you over there. So these caves actually has not built by recent master or teacher. Those are there for thousands of years. So we used to visit oftenly to experience how these yogis has lived over there. So we spend a couple of whenever we used to go, we used to spend a couple of hours to just sit there, meditate with the teachers, and just try to understand the energy level in the caves. I think totally different what is outside, because a spiritual energy, when people are practicing in such an area, because these yogis are doing it for hundreds of years, then their disciples are doing it at the same place, then their disciples are doing it. So the whole energy is such that you just need to go sit inside a cave and you are done. You don't need to put so much effort, because that energy, that prana shakti is very supportive. That brings your mind totally at calm and peace. See, mind, the turbulence that is happening is slowly goes down, and you come to a totally very calm, peaceful mind. So not much effort required. Whenever people go to the Himalaya, they have this kind of experience, because Himalaya again is full of prana and positive energy, because thousands of years, many yogis, thousands of yogis who has been doing their sadhana over there, and that's the reason people love going to there, right? And I feel the same. There is energy, there's a negative energy, and there is a positive energy. There's a spiritual energy, and you leave the impact. Wherever, let's say, I practice on this room every single day for 1 hour meditation, the energy in this room will be totally different than outside. So that was the reason we used to go and experience those caves and
Oh, so that cumulative energy of people practicing over thousands of years in that cave,
exactly.
you feel the effects um,
Immediately, you just need to
immediately.
go. Immediate effect. You go, close your eyes, sit inside, and you can see. You can feel on your skin some vibrations are happening. It is majestic experience.
And so one can recreate this in their own personal space by practicing yoga over and over again in their personal space.
People can do that, yes, of course. But again, you need to understand the idea these days is most of the people practice yoga at home, right? If they want to create that kind of ambience, it's very much possible. It doesn't matter you sit in the cave, you sit at home, or you sit in the temple, or you sit in the church. You will create the same amount of positive spiritual energy, but it need to be the same spot. It need to be the same asana. Asana means the clothes where you sit and meditate, and these have become a supportive tool in the journey of yoga. Actually, what happened in many years, I have been teaching meditation and things. Most of the students will do certain practice for a week, 2 week, and then they become bored, so they want to change the practice. So every time you start a new practice or new meditation, you must understand you're starting from zero. If you constantly take one practice and dedicate for next 3 months, 6 months on one practice, will bring result. You know, the mind of the human is very disturbed. Almost 70,000 thoughts every day we go through. Out of 70,000, 90% are stupid. I always say that. We don't even
I,
know.
Sorry, out of 70,000, 90,000 are what?
I say 90% thoughts are stupid. We don't even know what they are. It just come, sparkle in your brain, and they just happy, right?
Mm.
So when we meditate the same way, we want to have a, because we're so curious, like, okay, this practice is not bringing result. I don't know what they're expecting in the result of meditation, right? There should be no expectation. The result of meditation is nothingness. But people still expect something should happen, some magic should happen. So then the mind is thinking, oh, nothing is happening, let's change. Then you again is starting from the zero because the new technique will take time to tune. So we
Mm.
need to understand as a meditation practitioner that we all might find one object. As Patanjali mentioned in the Sutra of Dhyana, that before the Sutra of Dhyana, the concentration, the ekagrata, that we must train our mind to concentrate at one point. And without training the mind, there is no way we can reach to the state of meditation. Most of the people, students, practitioner, keep saying that we meditate. No one is actually meditating. No one can't meditate. It's simple. You must understand the word. Dhyana word means simply being. You don't do anything there. So what you're doing, you're actually concentrating. Now you might like a sun, you might like the moon, you might like the left nostril, you might like the right nostril, you might like the central part, you might like any object where you concentrate. Now this concentration, constant practice of it, leads you to the state of being in meditation, where nothing should happen. That's why the dharana, Patanjali say, Des bandhasya chittasya dharana. Des means the country, you pick up anything from that country. Bandhasya means locking your mind. Chittasya means the mana, that constantly having thoughts. Is dharana, is concentration. We must understand the difference. And when Patanjali say, because the yoga of Patanjali, the Raj Yoga, is the advanced yoga, he's not talking about physical body, he's talking about beyond the physical. His sutras are so profound. If you apply it, use it, they can really do something to your life or to your journey. But we keep forgetting those things. But again, the mind of the human plays a very important role in the journey of becoming. We constantly have disturbance, turbulence, and we give up. We don't follow the same path.
Oh, wow. Thank you for mentioning that lesson from Patanjali. Really quickly,
Yeah.
someone just asked, is there any plans for Saudi Arabia? Um,
Sorry?
Someone just asked, is there any plans for you going to Saudi Arabia?
Someone just read my mind. So I was recently in Dubai, and we had a discussion with some of my clients. Saudi Arabia is open up, and yes, we have a plan. Maybe not this year, but next year to come to Saudi, and we might do some yoga center in Saudi as well. So it might happen very soon. Yes, because we're already based in Dubai, so it's very easy to move to the Saudi and take this step further. So thank you for asking that question.
Back to the question. So you mentioned one part about Patanjali's quote. When you look back at your experience personally, what are your important lessons you learned um, from your gurus?
Okay,
Your
I think the
personal.
most important lesson that also mentioned by the Patanjali is the first sutra where he mentioned At Yoga Anusasanam. The same thing I think I have taken from that because people, there are two meanings to it. Anusasan means, one means is the discipline. If you break down anu means the subtle behavior of the mind. Sasan means controlling those. If you apply this anusasan or discipline word into your life, if you doesn't matter if you do yoga, you don't do yoga, and this is the biggest game changer. So when I was in the ashram living with the guru, the first thing was applied thoroughly that this discipline must be followed. Without this, there's nothing can happen. And this was really pushed hard on us because we were very young, we were sporty, we want to do sometime, go out of the ashram, have fun, meet friends, meet family. I say this is not going to happen. The moment you do that, you are out of the ashram. This was the ultimate notice given to us. You cannot break the rule, you must follow the discipline. So it takes time. It didn't take 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It takes enough long period of time, but when you follow the discipline, and discipline following means certain practice and ritual you have to follow within the discipline. And that does changes, that builds your willpower, and that brings it. I see lots of students today, because of lack of willpower and not discipline. One day they will practice, another day they will not practice, then they will practice, then not practice. And this applying anything and everything in life. So I think what Patanjali say, At Yoga, the yoga begin from disciplining your life. And this is what I took from there. Without disciplining your life, you cannot reach anywhere in the journey of yoga. Even in the, doesn't matter you don't practice yoga, this rule also apply in a person who is not doing yoga but want to achieve something in the life. So life must be disciplined. So this is the one thing that I took it. And of course the blessing from the master, they're always there on the teachers, on the students, there's no doubt. I was really blessed. Say wherever you will go, you will get success, you will find good student, good teacher, and you will spread the knowledge. And I have no complaint with that at all. So I feel blessed I was there with him.
And dedicate that. Dedicate
Exactly.
years of your life. Yeah. And
Yeah.
you already mentioned a couple of yoga sutras from Patanjali, but even what are some of your other favorite ones that come to mind, and why?
Okay. So one sutra of Patanjali I'll mention is based on the asana, because Patanjali does not talk about much physical yogasana. He only give one or two definitions. One is the Sthir Sukham Asana. That is the definition of asana. Sthir means stability or stillness in the body. Sukha means feeling of well-being. Asana means posture. Because Patanjali Yoga is advanced yoga, he's talking about all the advanced process. So he don't talk about the Hatha Yoga that is practiced previously. And to understand this, simply there are three important principles that can help us to achieve this feeling of stillness, because everything is associated with this sutra. So there's another sutra I mentioned, the Abhyas, Vairagyam, Tana, Nirodha. Abhyas means the practice, Vairagya means the detachment, leads to the perfection in the body and mind. So when you practice, let's say, asana or pranayama or concentration and constant practice bring that perfection in the body, that body becomes still. So he's talking about abhyas of the asana that has been taught previously in the Hatha Yoga, and then detachment from the mind, and then slowly achieving that state. And then you get into the sthirta. Sthirta means you are stable. Whatever posture, there is no one posture, there are 84,000 postures. You must feel that I am still physically and mentally, and most of the students also misunderstood the sthirta when he talks. When Patanjali is talking about the sthirta, it's not the sthirta only in the body. He's also talking about the sthirta, the stillness in the mind. Because till the time stillness in the mind doesn't rise, you cannot, feeling of well-being cannot happen, feeling of joy cannot happen, feeling of connection that cannot happen. So when we practice asana, this is the message for all the students, that today asana is very differently being practiced. If you use the classical way of practicing asana, every asana is an opportunity to achieve that state of being still physically, mentally, and feeling of joy and well-being or happiness within the self. But asana practice today is very different. You're holding asana for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, and quickly changing. There is no time for the mind to focus, to function, to correct, to work or align your breathing. If you look at the classical way, every asana you must be practicing at least 30 seconds and beyond, so you have enough time to do enough adjustment, enough time to bring your mind to the sensation on the body that's happening. And if you cannot experience the sensation on the body in the asana, that means your mind is not there. Asana doesn't mean just being in one physical posture. That means all the gymnasts are better yogis than us. So there is a bit difference, very mild, fine line difference here. You must understand asana simply means you're being present. You're being aware to all the sensation that's happening in the body. And every asana creates certain sensation. Those might be gentle stretch, tension in your tissues, maybe compression, maybe generating heat in the body, maybe breath into the nostril is changing or flowing deeper or better. And in that way, you're actually allowing your mind to disconnect from the external and to connect with the internal. And that's the real purpose and goal of the yoga, to turn inward. And when that happens, this is what Patanjali actually mean about this sthir sukham. Feeling of stillness physically and mentally, feeling of good well-being and happiness and joy is the asana. So this is one sutra. I think most of the students who are focused on the asana practice, and that's why I think this sutra can help them understand what is the meaning, real meaning of asana and how you should practice it, and this sutra can help them.
Do you
So
think
this is my
vinyasa?
favorite asana.
Do you think
Sorry?
vinyasa yoga, vinyasa to flow, where we don't hold maybe for so long, contradicts that sutra?
Yeah. Yes. Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Vinyasa yoga, where we don't hold postures for up to 30 seconds sometimes. Do you think that contradicts that sutra?
No, it doesn't contradict. So I think even we have enough time in Vinyasa Yoga because I think 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 we do. Depends on the flow we're practicing. But there are lots of other flow we don't have enough time. We constantly change the asana. Vinyasa you still have some time. And again, it depends on the teacher. What is the focus on teaching? It's just the asana based class or it's beyond the physical or asana based class. If class is beyond the asana base, then these tools must be applied. So 3 second, 4 second, 3 breath, 4 breath, 5 breath, you still have. Even mind can sense within 5 seconds what's going on in the body. So it doesn't contraindicate, it's just applying those tools in the practice and that can make your practice more fruitful. So no contraindication, only you need to just apply it. Yes, there are other yoga styles like you do very fast Stanga, Nyasa, Power Yoga, different purpose. But Vinyasa, every yoga style actually you can bring that attention, but again, there's not much time to train the mind there.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a good point. And how is your perspective on human consciousness changed since studying human consciousness is a part of your diploma in yoga science?
Okay. So, how does it change? I think we start from the mind first, right? Because human mind is a monkey mind, we call it, right? When you're starting to evolve and you're starting to do this yogic ritual practices, the first thing that happened, change that happened, that this thought process, whatever, how 70,000, 80,000, 90,000 thoughts that are going on, you're starting to reduce the thought process. Because one mind is such that very disturbed, constantly having lots of thought about past and future, something is bothering you, and one mind that is very calm, the waves changes constantly in that. So the consciousness need to understand, a very evolved consciousness means a person is very peaceful, forgiving, very calm, and can be having very balanced lifestyle. When a disturbed mind is there, these things are all away from that mind. And that's the one of the sutra, as I mentioned before, the Lord Krishna gave in the Bhagavad Gita, that the mind of a yogi, it doesn't change in a state of losing or winning. Doesn't matter you lose today some money or tomorrow you win, it remains in natural state. So the consciousness is such that it can get very disturbed sometime and it can also become very balanced. But again, it depends on how do we practice and take this further. And everyone have an opportunity, as I said, it's not only one practice, there are 1 million practice. Yoga is a vast, vast subject. And all of the practice is about evolving that this consciousness, the job of it is to connect with the supreme consciousness. But before that, this fluctuation in the mind need to be settled down. So very much possible, and for me, I see the changes that yes, whenever I want, I'm able to set myself. Doesn't matter I mean, if there's a situation coming that's not healthy for me, or there's a business wise because we are into business, sometimes it goes up and down. But I see myself most of the time in a very natural state. So it doesn't disturb me anymore. So that's the biggest change I see within me.
Do you think that
Hope you're
is?
happy with the answer. Sorry?
But do you think not experiencing the huge array of emotions and being almost still takes away from the human experience?
What can you repeat again? Let me increase the
So
volume.
not being affected by the fluctuations of the external environment, do you think that takes
Yeah.
away from the human experience?
No, that doesn't, because the experience is not for 24 hours. So this experience lasts maybe for a minute, 2 minutes. They say you really connected yourself. And then there are two things you need to understand. We live in a worldly environment, right? So when you live in a worldly environment, you must have that balance. So there's a family, you're involved with it, you're emotionally connected with it. And there's a spiritual journey that if some of the scripture says you totally should disconnect, but that can disturb completely the whole system of it, right? So there are people who take such a decision that who leaves the family and don't worry, don't bother about them much, and go again back to the very advanced stage and leave the world and go to the Himalaya. But there are people who are able to very much balance. It doesn't disturb. I think it creates much more understandable relation and builds up a very good energy between the families, because you become a very calm, peaceful person. So if one person is aggressive, other person is calm, so it doesn't do much damage, I say. It helps us actually to even grow, because you're end of the day you're practicing yoga, meditation, spirituality, and that energy also you're giving to your family member, to your friends, to your student at the same time. It's not like you keeping everything in yourself. When we, as a yoga teacher, when we teach yoga, is not only about just going teaching. We are constantly passing our energy, the connection, the emotion. We are emotional even with our students. So it's, yes, it's different totally.
Thank you.
Yes.
And on a different tangent, I was curious about the six shatkarmas that they talk about in yoga and the importance of practicing this. So there's neti, dauti, nauli, basti, prachalana, kapalabhati, pranayama, and chataka. So there's so many.
So let me say something now. You come to the Satkarma, I'll say, without practicing the Satkarma or mastering the Satkarma, a person cannot purify his body and his nadis. So asana is the first practice that you make your body enough strong, flexible, unwind it. But there are 72,000 energy channels and there are internal organs. And when the yoga system or codifier of yoga mentioned that purification of the mind should happen, the body should happen before you even start the concentration. So these satkarmas are those actual and real purification that does. So imagine a person who's having a very heavy acidity and sit for a meditation, what will happen? And a person who has a very clean body, there's no acidity, there's no extra acid, there's no disturbance in the chemical, and sit for a meditation, what will happen? A big difference will happen, right? Because they are feeling very calm, feeling of well-being happening. So each kriya has its own role. So we start from, let's say, the neti kriya. There are different types of neti kriya. There is jal neti, there is rubber neti, there is sutra neti. The purpose of doing the neti kriya is to purify the nostril. Because the yoga, one thing we must understand, the main source of taking the prana, the energy, is the nostril through the breath. So we have lots of mucus, bacteria, or viruses inside. So when we do neti kriya, it actually purifies and take out all the mucus. So when nostrils are closed with the mucus, you cannot breathe in, you cannot perform pranayama, right? There are some medical benefits that happen. People who have sinusitis, migraine, headaches, and a little bit of disbalance on the Agya chakra. This kriya can help those things to be taken care. But the purpose of doing Neti Kriya is to purify the nostril, the frontal part of the brain, and to activate. There are hundreds of nadis in every area that is going on. So Neti Kriya, when you do it, your eyes, your ear, nostril, your tongue, their health and well-being improves. This is what the scripture says. And lots of research, I think, getting done right now, and medical also proving, yes, doing Neti Kriya can help you have a better vision, better hearing, better taste. So that's one Kriya, because Kriya should be practiced before you do the pranayama, and the purpose of Neti Kriya is to purify the nostril, so you can take more smooth inhalation and exhale smoothly at the same time, right? Then comes the Vastra Dhoti, I will explain. So Vastra is a cloth, so you take like this width of the cotton cloth, and this is one of the most difficult Kriya that anyone can learn. But anyone who is interested, I can teach. I did master. And this is 22 feet long cloth. 22 feet long cloth. So now imagine a human stomach. We eat so much bad food. How how do we actually really clean these internal organs? So Yogi came out with the each and every system. So Dhoti Kriya needs to eat this 22 feet long cloth. We put in the salt water or in the milk. So it goes all in the stomach. And you leave this much out, okay? Out of 22 feet. Everything is in the stomach now. After that, you perform certain movement, the Noli Kriya, the Agnisara Kriya. So what happened? That cloth that's hanging in the stomach, it is starting to touch the inside wall of the stomach. And when the cloth touches that inside wall of the stomach, you grab everything that attached over there. All the dirt, all the bacteria, don't know for how many years there's some food that has been stick to the skin of the inside the stomach. And you touch it, and then when that happens, it also absorbs all the extra chemical acidity in the stomach that line. It pulls everything, and then you take it out. And you won't believe when you take it out, the last 2 meters of cloth, it's just yellow, because that's the acidity it pulls out from the body. So when you do that, of course, your acidity and the cleaning of the stomach happen completely. There is a Vaman Kriya. Vaman means vomiting. Every morning we must practice it, because the job of the Vaman Kriya is also to purify the stomach, the upper part of the digestive system, as we don't eat so healthy food, lots of acidic food, unhealthy food. And the reason behind that, eating healthy food, the result that we get it is lots of disturbance in our digestive activity. So the purpose of doing Vaman Kriya is also the same, to clean the stomach. Then comes the Sank Praksalana. I think you mentioned that as well, right? Sank Praksalana is a couch cleansing. So yogis, how do, let's say thousands of years ago, there was no medical, there was no cutting down the body. We think that, right? But yogis knew human body so well to another level. They know how exactly the human digestive system works, where are the organs placed, what are the length of the spine, which direction the intestine is. So they created this system after understanding so well. And if you look at very closely your digestive system, there are different walls from throat, food going to the tube and going to the stomach, there is a wall. From stomach, food going to small intestine, there is a wall. And from small intestine to the large intestine, going food, there is a wall. When you do this 5 specific asana in Sank Praksalana, after drinking 2 glasses of lukewarm water with salt and a little bit of lemon, you do this 5 asana, and every time you do this 5 asana, the water that you drink slowly goes down towards your intestine. And then you do again 2. So how many times? There is a Lagu Sank Praksalana, and there is a Dil. Lagu means the small. You take around 4 to 6 rounds of this water, and you do this 5 to 6 asana, around 5 to 6 times practice, and water goes down. At the end, the result of this is complete purification of the whole digestive system. And at the end, the water that you drink, the same color of water comes out from your body, from your large intestine. So that means there's nothing left inside. Now we start, if we rejuvenated, we clean, we purify, now we start fresh. So there are certain foods that we must take care of, the intestine and the internal organs. become very sensitive. So you eat like a boiled lentil and the rice, putting a little bit of butter and ghee in it, because intestine become dry and need to make it smooth again. And you eat that for a day, and next day starting to eat normal food. So once you do that, imagine when the body is totally purified on this level, a person cannot see a doctor then. It's simple. We get sick because of our internal body function, because energy is disturbed, organs are disturbed. We have so much bad chemical we creating. The job of doing shatkarma is simple: to purify and to make you the healthiest being. That means you don't see doctor. In your journey become easy for doing consultation or meditation. So every Satkarma Kriya has its own importance, own benefit. You can say physical benefit, even energetic benefit, and the spiritual benefit.
Wow. This is what is missing in today's society. The
This is
shatkarma.
exactly Satkarma. Even lots of other things are missing. Yes, Satkarma is missing, and I think students of yoga and practitioners should take this seriously, because they can really help them to become a very, very healthy person and a very purified body and mind at the same time.
And what is the difference between basti and shankaprasalana?
Okay, so the basti is another kriya. So basti does cleansing only for the lowest part of your digestive system, that the large intestine, we call it colon. So in basti, it's a very advanced technique again. First, you need to train yourself to create a contraction in your anus. We call it as the location of the mool bandha. And then you take maybe sit in a tub of water or in a tub of lukewarm water, and you create compression, suction. You're actually taking the water from the your colon, you're sucking it in, and after sucking it in, it goes to certain height, certain depth, and then you take it out. The purpose is the same of doing basti, just cleans the lowest part of your digestive system, where the sun prakshalana cleans the whole digestive system. But basti is very advanced. Not many people can get success without having a good guidance from the teacher and the master.
And what is the dauti? What's the difference between dauti and
So the
shankaprasalana?
dhauti I mentioned just now, the vastra dhoti that you eat 22 feet long clothes, that's the dhauti. So there's another dhoti, there's another kriya known as kapalbhati kriya. It's very famous. Most of the student practice. So one is kapalbhati, that you exhale through the nostril forcefully. 1 second, one exhalation. And result of that exhalation, again, what we're doing in a neti kriya, it purifies, throws all the mucus, all the bacteria, or the virus outside. It just improves the flow. So when you do kapalbhati, there's also constant movement that's happening in your stomach. It's constantly going in and out. So it helps to activate the solar plexus. And solar plexus is the third chakra, and that's the area of the fire element. So it also activating the fire, and as long as the fire is activated in the stomach, there is no way you can have constipation, indigestion, gastritis. You will digest the food, any food. In some of the scriptures mention, when you working on Agnisar Kriya, Agnisar is constantly flapping the belly. When you're doing Kapalbhati Kriya, when you're doing Sanpaksarana, and when you're doing peacock pose, even by mistake you take a poison in your body, you will be able to burn that. That's the power of these kriyas. They weren't effective then. Then comes, there's another Kapalbhati called as Vyutkam Kapalbhati, and in that we again take the lukewarm water with little salt. So the water you take through the mouth and you take out through the nostril. You can do that.
Wow. So what is the difference between, what I wanted to ask is the difference between using the 22-inch cloth versus just drinking the salt water with lemon.
So purpose is the same. Only thing is the clothes, when you're doing after eating the clothes, when you do that Agnisara or Noli Kriya, rotating, churning the tummy, it touches the skin, so it pull extra bacteria or very old food that is stuck with the skin, that just grab it with it. And that again cleaning only the upper part of your digestive system, where the Sanpakshalana cleans the whole digestive system, starting from mouth to your colon. So it's a half cleansing happen in Vastradhoti as well.
That seems like the most powerful one.
This is very
As in,
difficult. I took at least 3 months when I started. So we used to go for a competition. I have eaten that 22 feet in 52 seconds and taken it out. But it takes very long practice. You just eat like eating a chocolate, huh?
wow.
Yeah, but without practice, there's no way anyone can do this because body has never eaten cloth. And whenever you put a cloth in your mouth, the mind sends the signal to throw it out. So you will vomit for 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day. Fifth day, you might eat 1 inch. Sixth day, you might eat 2 inch. Seventh day, you might eat 6 inch. And then slowly you're starting to see, yes, it's going in now, my body and mind accepting it. And this is with anything in the body. Anything new you put it, you'll not accept it so quickly, right? The cloth we never eaten. So how body gonna accept it? And then you're training. So now body understand, mind understand, okay, this I am trying every day. This is not danger for me. The body is starting to take it in, but again, it's not gonna go in at the first week, 2 week. It's gonna take a month. Every day we must practice it. Once you eat, you must take it out as per the timing within 20 minutes. More than that, you should not keep in the stomach because after that the digestion begins and it might go into intestine. And when it goes into the intestine, you cannot pull it out because you're going to pull your intestine because then the intestines are like churning, right? So then it comes from the colon.
Wow.
So it's a bit danger after the total.
Such advanced practices that we don't really talk about normally, but it's good
Exactly.
to be aware of them. Good to be aware of them.
Thank you. Yes, a little bit of light on this, and I think people should really take this as their lifestyle. They don't have to do all of them, but they can pick up what they can do it. Easier one, right? They still does the job. They still purify. They still cleans you up, and they still give a result. So yes, we need to make part of our lifestyle. Yes, please.
Thank you so much for explaining that. And can you please guide us through the next one, Nadi Shodhana Pranayam, and some benefits of that that I said to destroy, this is I found, to destroy the process of decay and death and awaken the Kundalini and purifies the brain and the nadis. So this is a simple one that people can do.
I don't think so, but it's a very interesting one. So, before we start the Nadi Shodhan, as is the part of pranayama, Hatha Yoga pranayama practice, we must understand how the human breathing works. We as a human takes around 16 to 20 breaths a minute when we are in a natural state of our mind. When the mind disturbs or you get stressful, you get anxiety, this pattern change. And you cross that 20 habit, you go 25, 30. So the more faster you breathing, the more disturbance you're creating in the lungs because the lesser the amount of oxygen you takes in. Yogis not worried about the oxygen, they're more worried about taking the prana, the energy, the cosmic force through the breathing. We will look into the both perspective. So when the lungs is disturbed, having not enough oxygen in the short breath, it disturbs your heart. And heart disturb your mind. These three organs are working in coordination. So what is the first thing that we must understand? In yoga, there is a saying, the lesser you breathe, the longer you live. Now this 18-20 breath, as we human, we does, with the practice of pranayama, we can come down to 1, 2, 3, 4 breath a minute very easily. Okay, so when you're taking a slow, deeper, conscious breath, you're able to take more pranic force into your system. And we must understand the science of prana and energy. It's one, why does the pranayama practice is one step ahead than the asana practice? Even the Patanjali has put ahead than the asana. So firstly the yama, niyama, asana, and then comes the pranayama. Because the pranayama practice of pranayama is about expansion of the energy, purification of the nadis, and training the mind for the better concentration. Most of the students I see, and when I train, I do workshop, teachers training and things. This is a very important lesson. That many students who practice pranayama, they don't do two important things, is the feeling and the visualization. So they constantly breathe in and breathe out with one nostril, take out with another nostril. The pranayama is not complete without having a feeling. Feeling should be that I am inhaling, I can feel the warmth into my nostril. And the visualization is I am inhaling this light, the force, the sparkling white light into my body. Because when you add the feeling and visualization, then you're actually also helping your subconscious mind to reprogram. Now we come to the Nadi Shuddhi. As per the yoga system, there are 72,000 energy channels. Out of that, there are 7 chakras, actually 114 chakras, where these energy channels coming and meeting at different points. And out of those 114, there are 7 chakras. These are actually thousands of energy channels coming and meeting at one point. Now, Sakti, known as a feminine or Kundalini, is located into the first chakra. Let's understand this clearly. The Shiva is located into the eyebrow center, into the Kapala area. Now there's a first chakra, the first door, and there is a 6th door. And between this, there are 5. Starting from the first, the problem here is when the chakra is not purified, chakra is not awakened, chakra is not balanced, you cannot awaken the Kundalini. It's simple. Like this is one door here on the right hand side. If I need to go to the next door, I must open this door first to go to the next door. Right? I cannot go from the first door to the 6th door without opening up the door that is between. That is the obstacle. So let's come back to the Nadi Shuddhi. So when we do Nadi Shuddhi practice, there are 3 the most important nadis in our body is the Ida, Pingla and Sushumna. The left side we call it Ida, that represent the moon. The right side call it Pingla, that represent the sun. And I am sure you know about why yogis call it moon and sun. Or should I explain that as well?
Just explain it for the newbies who's listening.
Okay. So, as I said, everything involved in the deep state of meditation, and yogis learn about this body much better than anyone can. So, the left nostril, they say moon or Ida Nadi, they associate with the moon. The right nostril is Pingla Nadi, associated with the sun. The reason behind that, the right nostril has more electric potential than the left nostril. What science has found out a few years ago, what yogis has said thousands of years ago, the right nostril produces more electricity than the left nostril. And how can you experience this, right? You only can experience this, all this subtle change your experience in the deep state of meditation, else you cannot. Even there are so many sound and the noise your body creating constantly. Something called Anat Nath is unstruck sound. It's constantly rising from the heart. But you cannot experience till you really learn to shut your senses and put your mind into the heart. So there are certain subtle changes going on constantly, and this practice can help you to experience those. Let's come back to the pranayama. So what is the science and practice that is become very important to purify the chakra? So the first step is understanding where the chakra located. Once you know the location, you must know the color, you must know the symbols, and you must know the Bij mantra. We'll come to the second part, the Bij mantra and chakra part, after we finish the breathing part. The job of Nadi Sodhan is to activate the left and right in a very balanced way. So there is a time when the left nostril is active, and there is a time when the right nostril is active. Okay, and there is a time when both nostrils are active. Your Sushumna Nadi, that is in the center of the spine, it only activates when the both nostrils are activated at the same time. Is that clear? Your Sushumna Nadi, where actually the chakras are located, get activated only when the both nostrils are activated at the same time. Now, when we do Nadi Shuddhi Pranayam, the job of this is to activate the both nostril as we do alternative nostril breathing. And before we do Nadi Shuddhi, we must do our Neti Kriya or kapalbhati to again improve the flow and open up both nostrils. Otherwise, one nostril is blocked. So the result of Nadi Shuddhi, how long and how much and how should we practice Nadi Shuddhi? We should always maintain one ratio. So in the beginning, you do it without performing the kumbhaka or retention of the breath. Say inhale in 5 seconds. you exhale through the right in 5 seconds. You inhale through the right in 5 seconds, you exhale through the left in 5 seconds. You train yourself for 1 week, 2 week, 3 week in this. Once you train in this, now you inhale and you hold the breath in for 5 seconds and you exhale in 5 seconds. Then you go to the next stage. You inhale in 5 seconds, now you're holding in double the time, 10 seconds. You're exhaling also in 10 seconds. Now you change, you're inhaling in 5 seconds, you're holding in 20 seconds, and you're exhaling in 10 seconds. So what does holding actually does? If you look at the medical terms or at science, what you say when you working on retention of the breath, you're increasing the tolerance capacity of carbon dioxide on a cellular level. Holding is not bad. Through exhalation, you release almost 70% of your toxins from the body. We must know that. That's why yogis knew if we exhale slow and longer, we can take out more and our mind can become better at its function. So there are many changes on a physical level or energy level and on a spiritual level can happen. So the practice of Nadi Sodhan, the purpose of this is to balancing the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. And with that balance, the sympathetic nervous, the central nervous system that get balanced in terms of medical science, but in yoga, we're balancing the Ila and Pingala and activating the Susumna. When the Susumna is activated, the chakra is starting to purify. If you continue doing your practice, now you come to the chakra practice, there's a Bij mantra, and each Bij mantra is like knocking the door, right? When you knock the door, you make the noise. So every single word as we humans speak create vibration in certain area. We think we only speaking from our mouth, but no, there are subtle vibrations that happen. So these Bij mantra we need to chant while focusing on each chakra. Let's say if you want to purify, activate your root chakra. Root chakra is also associated with the earth element. That means the legs belongs to the earth. If any issue in the legs, that means we must meditate on root chakra. Is the foundation of all. So you must know the location of it, and you must know the symbol of it, and then you chant the mantra. Lam, 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 lam. So these are one of the technique that you're starting to work on the energy center or your chakras. But before even you do that, your pranayama will do a great job. The Nadi Shuddhi will actually help you. And as for the scripture, if you do Nadi Shuddhi every single day for a year, you don't need to do anything else. Your chakra will be aligned, it will be activated, it will be awakened, and your Kundalini will rise and merge. That is what the scripture mentions. But it needs to be done step by step. If you do step by step, getting mastery, not overstressing your lungs and heart, you reach. It's not going to happen in 1 month. It's not going to happen in 2 months. It's going to take time. Every single day, you must sit, you must practice Nadi Shuddhi. And when you practice Nadi Shuddhi, it is one of the most amazing practice they can say. Everything from the body toxified. Even you will have a very new skin within the 3 months. People actually don't have a patience to do these practices. But when you detoxify completely, taking that bad energy from out of the body and purify it and taking constantly very purified and more forced prana into the system, everything is rejuvenated. Your mind is trained for the concentration. The chakras are purified. Your nadis are purified. So the obstacle I was mentioning was the chakras in between. So when they purified and awaken, then there's no obstacle. The Shakti gonna rise and merge to the consciousness. So this is how Nadi Shuddhi will help. Simple to understand.
Wow. Thank you for explaining that in such depth.
My pleasure.
I learned so much from.
Sorry?
Wow. I
Thank
learned
you.
a lot from that. Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. Should we do one round?
Yes, please. 1 round of Nadi Sodhan.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. So, first is how to sit in the posture. Always keep your back, neck, trunk in a straight line. As the more straight, relaxed, and calm you are, the better the result you will have it in the practice. Let's keep the left hand in Gyan Mudra. Relax the wrist on the knee and practice the Parna Mudra. First 2 fingers you fold it and use the ring finger and the thumb to open and close the nostril. So first you do it, just open and close the nostril with the ring finger and your thumb. Okay, just to practice without doing any breathing. Right? Once you're used to, once you know how it needs to be done, you take your hands away from the nostril, keep it close to you. You're going to inhale through the nostril deep. Exhale through mouth. Block the right nostril. Inhaling through left in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Close the left nostril. Exhale through right in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling through right only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right close. Exhaling through left 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling through left, this round we'll do with holding 2, 3, 4, 5. Left close. Close both the nostril. Hold there for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling through right 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold outside. Close both the nostril. 3, 2, 1. Inhaling to right again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right close. Hold both. Close it. Hold. Let the prana expand to the body. 3, 2, 1. Exhaling through left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax. Now tell me how many seconds we took to finish one pranayama. Let's see if he was aware or no. Count quickly. Was it? Okay, let's do 5 seconds for inhalation, 5 for holding 10 seconds, 5 for exhaling 15, 5 for holding outside 20, then 5 for inhaling through the right 25, 5 holding inside 30, 5 for exhaling 35. So 35 seconds we took to do one round of breath. So from that 18 to 20 breath, we already cut down to 90% of it. So this is just the beginning of the practice. This 5 seconds is a very beginning stage. We can go 20 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute long inhalation. When minute long inhalation happening, imagine how much you can take it in 1 minute versus 5 seconds. When you can hold your breath for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, imagine the power you're creating into the body. You take the energy, the prana into the system, you exhale immediately, you're not giving time for that energy to spread throughout the system. The role of Kumbhaka in Hatha Yoga is to give time for that energy, that prana to spread out. And then you're taking out toxin, that energy purifies, then you're ready to take out the toxins, you exhale it. Then you do Vahya Kumbhaka, so your toxin can go away from the body. It's not close to you anymore. And then you take again the fresh prana. So this is the feeling we need to add and visualization we need to add to make it more powerful, this practice. This is how it needs to be done, Nadi Shuddhi. Always empty stomach before the breakfast or in the evening before you have your dinner. There should be 3 to 4 hour gap when you perform pranayama. The result of pranayama will be very fruitful if you follow these things. And you take enough time to practice, don't do it in a hurry. I see students want to get really excited and within a week they starting to apply Kumbhaka. The lungs is not ready to hold and they force and they force and they force and not good. It's a growth that happens step by step. Like what we are today, we did not become in one day. It took ages, right, to reach the same way. When you want to grow in the pranayama or yoga practice, it's a step-by-step practice we take it. We don't want to jump and damage ourselves. There's an aggressive mind, we call it. And when aggressive mind doing yoga, always able to damage something. And there's a very peaceful, calm, who understand the principle and the system of the yoga, will never be able to damage, but always get the maximum benefit out of the practice. So this is how it needs to be done.
Thank you so much. Even after 35 seconds, I feel the benefits of,
Even I feel the same.
and it's a great tool. I think an underestimated tool that
It
if
is.
we so underestimated but so powerful that
It is very, one of the most profound, powerful, and it affects every system of the body. Because
mm,
what happened, we as a human, if you see our life become very fast, and we like to do fasting. Even in the yoga, we like more aggressive classes and more slower classes, right? To do pranayama, you need to be very patient and very disciplined and very dedicated. What you're doing in a class is fine, but this practice is not supposed to be done in the class. This practice, you do it for your self growth. Every morning is a ritual for you, do it. Class, keep it separate. But this is for yourself, getting growing constantly, constantly, and constantly. So don't mix it with your class, because in class, if you do this, you will get bored, simple. But once you decide in your mind, no, I want to make this part of my lifestyle, then you're starting to see a great result of this practice.
wow. And I think this is great on any state of mind, any state of being, whether you're sad, anxious, happy,
Yes,
stressed.
it will help. It will help any state. There's, I think some of the research has been done. Practice of Nadi Suddhi is very curable for any kind of heart disease, mental disorder, chakra purification. It can help. It can change the level of energy. It can make you very positive person, very energetic person, because every chakra has its own quality. When you're doing this, those chakra, those quality actually you're getting it. So when those quality you're getting it, those benefit you're getting, you're changing all of your being. So
Mm,
also you need to understand, because of we practice pranayama, this nadi suddhi, the constantly when you following this system of counting, feeling and visualizing, your mind is getting trained. Your mind is more concentrated than other activities. Because if you don't focus, you cannot have that flow, you cannot count, you cannot visualize, and you cannot feel. So it's a that's why I say in the pranayama, mind growth, the focus, the concentration is also improving. And real yoga actually starting from the practice of pranayama till asana, the yoga is a preparatory yoga. We must understand that, and we
mm.
must take the the pranayama and concentration practice more seriously than more easy. Well, thank you.
Thank you so much. There's no contraindications to this practice of Nadi Shodhan at
Anyone,
all.
anyone, anyone can do it as per their comfortability. If you find difficulty in 5 seconds, you do 3 second inhalation. You do 4 second inhalation. You do 10 second. Everyone might have a different lungs capacity, lungs volume, or lung strength. So some people who do lots of swimming and stuff, they can easily take 10 second break. Right? People who do sprint running, they can take long breath. The lungs and heart is already very strong. So we need to find where we feel comfortable, and at least you do 5 rounds of pranayama to find are you comfortable with 5 seconds, 6 seconds, 7 seconds, or 10 seconds. If you think now you're struggling, you go down 1 or 2 seconds. First find that, and you train yourself with that ratio for weeks, and then you change the ratio. Now let's increase 2 more seconds, and every week you can increase 2 seconds easily. So in a year, you imagine where you're going to reach.
Mm.
You're not going to stop. Exactly.
So much of it. And you didn't talk about doing a Gyan Mudra for this
Yeah.
pranayama. This
Yeah.
is another question I had. Can you please talk about the power of mudras and its relationship to yoga?
So there are different purpose and goal of a mudra. Most of the mudra that we do it. So let's say there are 5 fingers. There are 5 different elements: Prithvi, Jal, Agni, Vayu, Akasa, the water, the air. So whenever you touch certain elements, you activate it, right? So when you do Gyan Mudra, Gyana means knowledge, and the area of the knowledge in our body is the head. So the job of the mudra is you're not allowing the energy to release from the body, because from fingertip you can release the energy, from the toes you can release the energy, from the ear, from eyes, from sahasrara, from nostril, from mouth, from intestine, from colon, you can all release. These are different doors. So the job of the mudra is to not letting the energy release, but to divert to certain area of the body. So when we sit in, most of the yogis sit in Gyan Mudra or Dhyan Mudra or Buddha Mudra. When we sit in the Gyan Mudra, it diverts the energy, the prana towards the head. Because to meditate, to concentrate, we must have two things. One is enough amount of blood that's going to the head. And second is enough amount of energy that's rushing to the head. So look at the asana. When you sit in Padmasana, what actually Padmasana do to your mind? What it has to do? Why we sit in Padmasana to do meditation?
Maybe because the feet are pointing up as well, so the energy is not going down towards the earth.
No. Look at the body structure. Below the hip, when you sit in Padmasana, the body is completely locked. So when it's locked, within 5 minutes, your legs will disappear. You will not have any feeling of the leg. So that blood from the lower body through the spine, it travels to the head. So the more blood, more energy, the idea of doing Padmasana is that you bring in more to this area. So the focus, the concentration can improve. Then we sit like that in Gyan Mudra. That means the energy that's supposed to release from here, we're not allowing to release, we're circulating back into our head. So there are different gestures. Some are advanced, like a Nasikagra Drashti is also a mudra. You're gazing at the nostril. This is associated with the third eye. The Sambhavi Mudra is concentrating, turning both eyes, gazing at it straight away, concentrating on the third eye. Very powerful technique. There's a Khechri Mudra. You roll the tongue back. The scriptures say when you master the Khechri Mudra, you can win over the death. You can remain hungry, means you will not feel for the water and the food. That's the power of these gestures. And balancing these 5 elements through touching Prithvi, Agni, Jal, Vayu, Akash. So they are very powerful tool in terms of growth. In terms of therapeutic purpose, we using it. Certain research has been done with SVS University in Bangalore in India. Few mudra, they have done the research on hundreds of people that how can they increase the vitality of certain organs. So if you look at how yogis has invented, this was not done. So what happened when, let's say I start meditating in this gesture, Gyan Mudra, and after 20 or 30 minutes, there is no surety my hand will be like that. My hand might take a different shape. My body want to find its own tuning effect, its own balancing way to change the position. So many yogis, when they go in a meditation, they might go like this, but they might come out like this out of the meditation. Body changes position, and that's why this mudra being involved in the deep state of meditation. Mudra also means money, huh? So don't confuse here. So yeah, those are the benefits we can look for different mudras. It's a very vast subject to discuss, but they help us in a different ways in life.
And I know can you look at some yoga positions as a mudra, like asana as a mudra?
There is a yoga mudra, the asana, you sit in Padmasana and you lock the wrist with the right hand behind your back and you exhale, lean forward. Most of the mudras, as I mentioned, they are all about shutting certain doors and diverting the energy to a certain area. Yoga mudra is one of the most powerful art yogic mudra. In the asana, you practice that. These days, there are classes that he teaches us going on. We practice mudra when doing the asana, like say when you're doing your warrior pose, we practice the prana mudra, touching your thumb to the last finger, keeping the hand aside, or you're keeping it up with the same way, or you're practicing Gyan Mudra. So this can be applied, but again, that's not a real benefit. You're going to get it, but when you sit in meditation and you do this mudra, they become a great tool to help you to go beyond the physical experience.
Oh, wow. But what is the difference, say, between practicing an asana, Viparita Karani? That can be a mudra?
Sorry?
Like, for example,
Viparit Karni is also a mudra in the asana.
what is the difference between asana and mudra in that way? Can you call it every...
Okay, so No. Every asana is not mudra. In Viparit Karni Mudra, the shape, the body position that goes in, where the spine is actually in 45 to 60-degree angle, leg goes straight. So that angle actually helps to shift the prana from the lower energy center to the higher. That angle is the best suitable. On top of that, because of the angle is such, your gravity has its own job. The gravity pulls towards it, towards the throat chakra and the third eye and towards the head. Most of the energy in that angle. That's why I call it mudra. Not most of the asana can do that. Like headstand, of course, you can take lots of blood and things, but no mudra. That best alignment position that is spine get it in the Viparit Karni Mudra, where you don't need to do much. You just need to be there, concentrate on the breath, and it pulls the energy in upward direction. You can't call all the asana as a mudra. Yeah. Because all asana cannot help you to shift the prana energy or lock the energy to a certain area. Asana job is different. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was trying to, the difference between asana and a mudra.
Yes. There are few mudras physically can get done, but they look like physical bodies involved. They look like asana. Yes, asana is there, but they also turning into mudra because you're playing with certain energy system over there.
I see. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And you explained some powerful mudras. This is the last question. Some powerful mudras and how to use.
The best mudra I will suggest everyone to practice is Sambhavi Mudra. You sit straight with your back, neck, trunk in a straight line, and you just open your eyes, maybe half open, half close, and then you turn both pupils of the eyes into the eyebrow center, and you gaze at that without blinking your eyes. So you're constantly gazing at your third eye. The third eye is a very powerful magnetic center. Once your eyes, both eyes are settled, you will feel like you don't want to come back out of that practice. Because that is associated with the pineal. The more you concentrate, the more bonding you will find yourself with this center. And this is the Guru Chakra, we call it Master Chakra, this controlling the function of below 5 as well. So concentrating here will help you purify, will help you balance, will help you awaken. The Sambhavi word comes from Sambhu, from Shiva. So he was constantly sitting with eyes focused here. Most of the time he was practicing Sambhavi Mudra meditation. So both eyes need to go at the triangle, meeting at this point, you're gazing at this point. It can be done 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. The longer it is, the more powerful it will become. And this one practice, you will see when you do it, your mind will not go extrovert. It will just be inward. It's a very powerful technique. Also, the energy, the prana will be starting to move because one thing we need to understand, wherever the awareness or concentration goes, your energy flows into that area. If you're concentrating in this center, energy flow into this center. And we need energy there. We need activation of this center. So this is the most amazing technique I can suggest to all the practitioners to do it. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. That's it.
It can be a substitute for the pick-me-up. If your brain isn't functioning, just focus your energy.
Yes, it can be. It can immediately help you. Sometimes it can just drop your mind completely. If you do it for next 1 week, 2 to 5 minutes, you will see a great change. You'll feel like relief. Yes.
That's great. Thank you so much. This was so
Thank you.
cool. Your explanations are very thorough and in-depth and so well articulated to explain it to everyone who doesn't even have a yogic background. So
yeah, it's my pleasure. And yeah, I said I can talk on the subject to a certain level. I practice it, I lived it, and I understand it well. And I'm sure some of the people who are watching can get benefit out of this. And thank you very much for doing this, Radhika. I wish you all the best and blessings to you.
Thank you so much. Sumit, before you go, can you tell us how people can connect with you, what you have to offer?
Okay, so one is we have one organization in Dubai called Lifestyle Yoga. So we have a Lifestyle Yoga World Instagram account where you can go on the website. And also I have here my personal website called manavyoga.co.uk. also Manav Yoga Instagram account. So right now I'm in UK. I do lots of personalized based wellness training based on yoga and chakra balancing and purification. And I will be teaching again this year in the World Yoga Festival that happening in Hadley on Thames. Two interesting classes. Before that, I am taking some of the students to Austria for our detox retreat that we used to do annually, and that happening from 3rd to 8th July. If anyone interested, please more than welcome. We have two more space for that only. So this is how you can connect me, and if anyone need any guidance, any consultancy, please do reach out to me.
And can
Thank
you
you again.
websites as well?
And the UK website is manavyoga.co.uk.
And lifestyle yoga.
Lifestyleyogaworld.com.
Okay. And
Okay.
where would people who haven't had for this detox retreat, if people haven't done any detox, can they come to this? Can you tell us more about this
And
detox?
so this retreat, I'm doing it actually the second time. So there's a place, the village called Pill in Austria. The hotel name is Grafenast, run by a family, and this is the 100% organic hotel. And the environment is just pure magical because we're surrounded by nature. We are on the hill, overviewing the Innsbruck Valley. So first part is the food part, that's sorted because organic food, very healthy food. Second part, very authentic yoga practice that we're gonna do it at least 3 to 4 hour day, different yogic practice involved in that, including asana class, different yoga styles, meditation, detoxification session, pranayama, meditate. There's lots going on over there, yeah. So it's a 5 days, 6 days, 5 night retreat, and we're going for some of the hikes. We taking as well guiding hikes, going to some of the lakes to view. So wherever we go, we will try to sit for some time and shut down ourselves through different ancient meditation technique. That's the idea of this retreat. Is also another important thing is that we don't have internet in that place. We totally disconnecting from the world. So that to get to connect, we have a small booth like a telephone booth in London. That kind of a booth. We go close to that booth. That's the only time your phone you can get network or you can do works. As we're not promoting connectivity with the external world, but we are promoting connectivity with the internal self in this. So more than welcome to reach me.
It's important. The one with
So yes.
How many of these retreats would you plan to run this year?
So I normally do 2 a year. One I used to do in Himalaya, one I used to do in Austria always. But last 2 years situation was not good. So this is the first one I'm doing this year. I've done many in the Dubai in last 2 months. That was more of a going into the desert for overnight or 2 nights. And the next one might happen in the March. We're going back to Himalaya because situation is getting back to normal in India. And that's favorite, taking to the roots where the yoga begins.
And how long is the detox retreat?
The Himalaya retreat lasts from 7 to 8 nights. We're still working on the itinerary, so 7 to 8 nights program it might be.
And the Austria retreat?
Austria is 5 nights.
Okay.
6 day, 5 night, yeah.
That's amazing.
Thank you very much.
I'm so excited. I think that's great that you offer these retreats to detox, to purify the body so people can go back to life and then
Exactly.
self. So and a complete immersion, mind, body, food, spirit. So thank you
Exactly.
so much for
That's
your
the idea, Yeah. Because lots of people in last 2 years become very stressful, and I think this is the time they want to get out, do something for themselves to rejuvenate, to recharge, to regain the health back. So lots of things are going on, and yes, if you get a chance, please do join.
Thank
So
you
thank
so
you very much, Pratika, again. I wish you all the best, and
thank
look forward to see you soon.
Yes, hopefully at the World Yoga Festival, the detox retreat. Looking
Exactly.
forward
Thank you.
to
Namaste.
it. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye. Bye.